It's 2 a.m. on a moonless night in 1386, and you're a 32-year-old man disguised as a horse dealer, standing in a crowded tavern in Montreuil, France. You're hundreds of miles from home. Your real name doesn't matter anymore. For the past 3 months, you've been living under a false identity, gathering fragments of military intelligence for the English crown. One wrong word, one suspicious glance, and you'll end up in the dungeons of the Châtelet prison in Paris, where they'll stretch you on the rack until your shoulders dislocate, then drag you through the streets to be hanged, drawn, and quartered. Welcome to life as a medieval spy. It's not quite what spy novels look like. Today, we're diving into what daily existence was actually like for intelligence agents in medieval Europe. And I'm warning you right now, this is going to shatter any romantic notions you might have about espionage in the Middle Ages. We're talking extreme poverty, constant fear, brutal torture, and executions so horrific they were designed to serve as public warnings for generations. Let's start with how you even become a spy in the first place. Because unlike modern intelligence agencies with formal recruitment processes, medieval espionage was opportunistic, desperate, and often born from tragedy. Your path to espionage, how spies were made. There was no medieval CIA training facility, no spy academy. The path to becoming a medieval spy almost always involved desperation or coercion. The most common route was financial ruin. Many spies were former prisoners of war, facing ransoms that could bankrupt entire families. A knight's ransom could cost hundreds of pounds, decades of income for a wealthy merchant. The choice was simple: rot in prison, or spy for your captors in exchange for freedom. Sir Thomas Turberville, an English knight captured by the French in 1295, agreed to become a French agent rather than languish in a dungeon. Once back in England, he sent detailed reports to Paris about King Edward I's military preparations and coastal defenses. When discovered, his fate was standard for traitors: hanged, drawn, and quartered. Others became spies through betrayal. Sir John Minsterworth entered French service after falling out with his commander during a disastrous campaign in 1370. He too met the executioner. Merchants made perfect intelligence agents because they could travel across borders, spoke multiple languages, and moved freely through ports and markets. Monks and clergy were equally valuable. They traveled without suspicion, were welcomed into noble courts and military camps, and heard conversations most outsiders never would. One ecclesiastic, sent by Robert Guiscard to spy on Saracen forces, was chosen specifically because he understood and talked very well like the Saracens. The poorest recruits took menial jobs in enemy households: servants, grooms, kitchen staff, where they could overhear planning sessions and observe troop movements. During Effort 1386 and 1387, English agents operated across northern France, disguised as horse dealers, tinkers, cloth merchants, monks, or soldiers of fortune. Here's what's crucial: there was no formal training. You learned on the job, or you died trying. A day in the life of a spy, living under a false identity. Imagine waking up every morning knowing that a single mistake could mean your death. Not a quick death, but hours of public torture before your body is torn apart. Your daily routine was built entirely around your cover identity. If you were posing as a merchant, you actually had to buy and sell goods. You needed to know market prices, trade routes, and speak the local dialect convincingly. Language was the biggest challenge. Regional accents varied dramatically, and any slip could expose you. You spent days in the most public places: taverns, markets, port cities, and royal palaces. Medieval courts were notoriously insecure. Crowds of courtiers, petitioners, and curious onlookers gathered freely with little control over entry or exit. Military camps were equally accessible, tent cities with thousands of soldiers, tradesmen, and prostitutes that strangers could penetrate easily. The most basic intelligence method was listening. You positioned yourself near planning sessions, eavesdropped in taverns, picked up gossip at markets. In 1364, a French spy in English overheard a crucial conversation between the Count of Foix and Charles the Bad about plans for war with England. The two men thought they were safe, speaking in an enclosed garden. But the spy listened from behind a wall and sent a detailed report that changed diplomatic relations. You also observed and memorized. You noted troop movements, counted soldiers, assessed fortifications, and mapped supply routes. Bertrand de la Brocquière, traveling as a pilgrim through Ottoman territories in the early 1400s, took mental notes on military fortifications, trade routes, and political conditions in every city. He wore local clothing, spoke the languages, and blended in well enough to survive places most Westerners wouldn't have. When he returned to Europe, he presented comprehensive intelligence to the Duke of Burgundy. But gathering information was only half the challenge. You had to transmit it without getting caught. The art of secret communication. Medieval spies used surprisingly sophisticated methods to send messages. Invisible ink made from vinegar or milk was simple but effective. You'd write your message, let it dry until invisible, then write an innocuous letter over it. Your contact would hold it near a candle flame to reveal the hidden writing. Coded messages existed, though codes before the 1500s were crude. Some simply replaced names with pseudonyms that anyone could guess. Charles the Bad's coded messages in the 1360s were so transparent that English intelligence deciphered them easily. Physical concealment was more reliable. Letters were tucked into hollowed-out shoes, stitched, into clothing, or baked into bread. Some spies used dead drops, leaving messages at predetermined locations. The most secure intelligence came from infiltrators in enemy households. Hennequin du Bos, a soldier from Hainaut, infiltrated the households of French commanders in March 1386 when a massive invasion fleet was being prepared. He had direct access to invasion logistics. He was caught snooping and executed in Paris. But before dying under torture in the Châtelet dungeons, his confessions revealed a vast network of English spies throughout northern France. What you actually earned. The economics of espionage. Medieval spies were rarely in it for the money because the money was terrible. Unlike soldiers with clear daily wages, a foot soldier earned 2 pence per day, a knight 2 shillings, spies operated in the shadows of official record-keeping. Governments avoided documenting payments to secret agents. References in accounting documents were deliberately vague. For certain secret business, or in our secret affairs. Most spies were coerced into service or motivated by factors other than money. Released prisoners spied to avoid prison. Political opportunists sought advantage or revenge. The desperate did it to survive. For those who were paid, compensation was unpredictable and often came as pardons, land grants, or promises rather than coin. A spy who prevented an invasion might receive substantial reward, but there was no guarantee. Many died before collecting anything. Living conditions reflected this poverty. Spies under cover often survived in genuine destitution, taking menial jobs that barely provided food. One letter from Bologna described a spy begging door to door through terrible mud, bringing home nothing unless the Lord go with him. When you're caught, the fate of captured spies. Medieval society had zero sympathy for spies. Espionage was considered the lowest form of treachery because it involved deception and violated codes of honor that medieval nobility held sacred. If caught, your fate was rarely swift. Captured spies were held for days, sometimes weeks, subjected to escalating torture until they revealed everything. The goal wasn't just information, it was to break you completely. The rack was a favorite tool. You'd be stretched on a wooden frame, limbs pulled until joints dislocated. The pain was excruciating and could last hours. Thumbscrews crushed fingers until bones shattered. The iron boot compressed legs and feet until confessions poured out, whether true or not. Medieval authorities believed pain made lying impossible. In reality, torture produced whatever interrogators wanted. Broken spies confessed to crimes they never committed, implicated innocent people, and provided false intelligence to make the pain stop. If torture didn't kill you, and it often did, execution followed. The punishment for espionage was hanging, drawing, and quartering. You'd be dragged behind a horse through streets to your execution site, then hanged from a gallows, but not to death, just until you lost consciousness. While still alive, you'd be cut down and revived. Then, before the gathered crowd, your genitals would be cut off, your abdomen sliced open, and your intestines pulled out and burned before your eyes. Only then would you be beheaded. Your body would be cut into quarters and sent to different regions as warnings. Your head would be mounted on a spike and displayed publicly, sometimes for years. This was Dafydd ap Gruffudd's fate in 1283, whose body parts were sent to York, Bristol, Northampton, and Hereford, with his head at the Tower of London. William Wallace suffered the same in 1305. The psychological toll, living with constant fear. Medieval sources rarely capture the immense psychological pressure of living as a spy. You lived every day knowing that discovery meant not just death, but public humiliation, prolonged torture, and your family's reputation destroyed. The isolation was profound. You couldn't confide in anyone. Every conversation was a potential trap. Every new acquaintance might be counterintelligence. The paranoia was justified. Medieval governments ran spy networks specifically to catch enemy spies. Alien clergy, merchants, and travelers were viewed with particular suspicion. During heightened tension, ports closed, foreigners were arrested en masse, and anyone suspicious could be detained. In 1345 and 1380, Newgate Prison in London was stuffed with suspected French spies. Though most were released for lack of evidence, the arrests created an atmosphere of terror. Maintaining a false identity for months or years took a psychological toll no medieval writer documented, but which must have been crushing. One slip of the tongue, one moment of inattention, one person who recognized you, and everything collapsed. Why any of this matters? Despite the poverty, danger, and psychological torment, medieval spies shaped European history in ways kings and knights never could. Intelligence prevented invasions, exposed plots, revealed weak points in defenses, and provided information commanders needed to win battles. The surprise attack at Kenilworth in 1265 succeeded because a female spy named Margoth, disguised as a man, gathered intelligence on rebel positions. The English victory at Verneuil in 1424 was partially due to an anonymous spy in Bourges who provided crucial information about French plans. Medieval espionage also laid groundwork for professional intelligence services emerging in later centuries. The methods, infiltration, codes, dead drops, using merchants and clergy as agents, became the foundation of modern spycraft. Most importantly, medieval spies revealed a truth that remains valid today. Information is power. In an age before mass communication, when news traveled at the speed of a horse, accurate intelligence about enemy intentions could mean the difference between victory and annihilation. Life as a medieval spy was brutal, terrifying, and often short. You lived under constant threat. You earned little or nothing. You trusted no one. If caught, you faced torture and the most horrific execution medieval society could devise. But you also had power to change the fate of kingdoms. You could prevent wars, expose traitors, and provide intelligence that protected realms. You operated in history's shadows, unnamed and unacknowledged, but your work shaped the medieval world in ways most people never saw. If you enjoyed this deep dive into medieval espionage, smash that like button and subscribe for more analytical approaches to history. What other aspects of medieval daily life would you like to see covered? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.